Welcome to the deep dive, where we try and unpack complex ideas.
Fog and clearer, yeah.
Exactly. So today, we're plunging into a real literary heavyweight, one that definitely stirred things up. Gustave Flaubert's Madame Bovary.
A classic, and for good reason.
Absolutely. We've been looking at excerpts from Madame Bovary, Romantism ve Gerçeklik Çatışması, which really helps get under the skin of the novel.
It provides some great context, yeah.
So our mission today isn't just to trace Emma Bovary's, well, tragic story. We want to really grasp the cultural moment it landed in, and maybe more importantly, why it still feels so relevant.
It really does resonate, doesn't it?
It does. How did Flaubert turn this, story of personal tragedy into something so timeless? And what was the deal with the controversy it sparked? That's what we're diving into.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so Madame Bovary. You really have to start with Flaubert himself, Gustave Flaubert. He wasn't just any novelist. He was, well, a pivotal figure, almost revolutionary in literature, wouldn't you say?
Well, absolutely. Flaubert's role in shaping the realism movement is huge. In the 19th century, realism wasn't simply describing stuff. It was a very conscious break from romanticism, all that high emotion and idealized scenery.
Right, less drama, more reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Flaubert wanted to show life as it actually was, without dressing it up or hitting you over the head with a moral. And his meticulous style was key to this.
Le mot juste. The perfect word.
Precisely. But also techniques like free indirect discourse. That's where Emma's thoughts kind of merge with the narrator's voice. It gives this incredible psychological depth that was pretty groundbreaking.
So it's not just what he said, but how he said it.
Definitely. That dedication to craft, to showing the truth, even the uncomfortable bits, is what made him such a giant in French literature.
And Madame Bovary certainly delivered on uncomfortable truths. The central conflict, it just feels so inevitable almost. Emma's huge romantic dreams smashing against the, frankly, boring reality of her provincial life.
You can see the collision coming. Her whole life becomes this desperate hunt for passion, all fueled by those romantic novels she reads.
Which leads straight to disappointment, right? In her marriage, the affairs.
Profound disappointment, yes. The marriage to Charles, the affairs with Rodolphe and Léon, they all fall short. And it spirals into her tragic end. But it speaks to something universal, that longing we all feel sometimes, that gap between the life we imagine and the one we have.
That dissatisfaction.
Right. And Flaubert doesn't just state it, he dissects it. He shows how these small choices, like her taste in books, actually feed her disillusionment and accelerate the tragedy. It's personal, but it feels universal too.
It's interesting how the people around her almost seem to push her towards disaster, maybe without even meaning to. Like Charles, her husband, or Leroux, the merchant, they feel like parts of that harsh reality.
That's a great way to put it. You've got Emma herself, obviously the dreamer trapped, her dissatisfaction driving everything.
Always wanting more.
Always. Then there's Charles, her husband, just an ordinary country doctor. He's kind, but, well, unremarkable. He just can't live up to her fantasies.
You almost feel sorry for him sometimes.
You do. His sheer ordinariness is like a symbol of her cage, a contrast to her own sort of dramatic excesses.
And when she tries to escape that cage, she runs into Rodolphe and Léon, the lovers.
Yes, her lovers. But they end up just reflecting her fantasies back at her, don't they? They aren't real solutions. They can't possibly meet those impossible expectations she has.
They disappoint her, too, eventually.
They do. Which brings us to Monsieur Leroux, the merchant. Now, he's interesting.
The cunning one.
Very cunning. He actively manipulates Emma's desire for things, for status. He lures her into debt, which becomes crippling. He's instrumental in her ruin.
So he's more than just a plot device.
Oh, much more. He represents the sort of predatory, transactional side of reality that Emma keeps trying and failing to escape. He profits from her dreams.
And those dreams, those desires, they're not just plot points. They open up all these rich themes Flaubert is exploring.
Exactly. The novel invites you to think deeper. The most obvious theme is that clash we mentioned, romantic ideals versus harsh reality.
Her fantasies are constantly being punctured.
Constantly shattered, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the setting itself, 19th century provincial France. That suffocating atmosphere, the social constraints, the sheer boredom, and it definitely stifles Emma.
It limits her options.
Hugely. And the novel really digs into the struggles of women in that society. Emma's challenges highlight how little independence or real opportunity for fulfillment women had then. It's not just her personal failing, it's a critique of the society.
And connecting back to Leroux, that whole cycle of consumption, debt leading to destruction.
Yes, that's a major theme. Her obsession with material things, with status, leads her into debt she can't handle and ultimately to her death. It's a powerful warning about desire getting out of control.
And it feels timeless, that part.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
dynamic resonates far beyond 19th century France.
Flaubert was also brilliant with symbolism, wasn't he? Using objects and places to deepen the sense of Emma's despair, like her romance novels.
They're not just books. They're the source code for her fantasies, the fuel for her unhappiness with real life.
Makes you wonder if Flaubert was critiquing the kind of escapism society offered women back then.
That's a really insightful point. And Paris, even though she never really gets there in the way she imagines, it looms large.
The ultimate symbol of everything she wants.
Exactly.
Right.
Luxury, freedom, glamour,
Yeah.
all unreachable. It's this constant shimmering what if. And the debt, the things she buys, they become almost physical symbols of her grasping for happiness, but it's always slipping away.
It all ties back to the setting, too, that narrow and dull provincial world.
Right. Flaubert paints this environment as so oppressive, leaving, as the source says, little room for dreams. The atmosphere itself feels like it's crushing her. It makes her internal struggles even more potent.
So, beyond the story itself, the way it was written and the themes it tackled, that's what makes Madame Bovary such a landmark. It's basically the cornerstone of realist literature.
It really is. And what's wild is that when it was published, it actually led to a trial. Flaubert was put on trial for immorality.
Morality.
Because of the affairs?
Well, yes, partly. But it was more about how he wrote about them. His objective style, his refusal to clearly condemn Emma or spell out a moral lesson that was seen as dangerous.
So the lack of judgment was the problem.
In a way, yes. Society wasn't used to that kind of moral ambiguity. It forced people to confront the messiness of life without easy answers. But, ironically, the whole scandal and his acquittal just cemented his reputation.
Made him even more famous.
Exactly. Drew massive attention to his artistry and his fearlessness. Quite the journey for a man who'd agonize over a single comma.
So bringing it all together, what's the enduring message for us today? Why does Emma still matter? Well, at its heart, it's about that fundamental gap, isn't it? Between our imagination, our desires, and the often messy, disappointing reality of life.
That search for something more.
That search, yes. That human dissatisfaction, the yearning for freedom, and maybe the destructive side of wanting too much or wanting the wrong things.
It does make you think.
It does, and it raises a question for now, doesn't it? In our world, with social media constantly showing us curated, perfect lives, are we maybe a bit like Emma, chasing ideals that aren't quite real?
Falling for modern versions of Luro, perhaps?
Perhaps. Are we being sold desires that ultimately leave us empty? It's definitely something to consider.
That's a really potent thought to end on. So Madame Bovary, it's far more than just a sad story. It's, like you said, a mirror.
A mirror to our own dreams and frustrations.
And the hard choices we face when those dreams collide with reality, it really makes you reflect on where we find contentment in the fantasy or somewhere in the, well, the gritty real world.
The timeless struggle.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.